What's up, guys? I just wanted to make a quick video of this KLX110L that I picked up and half-assed built, but this thing's sweet. So starting off, we got the Renthal play bike, 50cc high bars. It has the FMF 4.1 full system, which I put some exhaust wrap on because that got pretty hot when you were riding in just shorts. We got some Chinese oversized foot pegs on there. Those took a little bit of grinding and fitting to get them to fit with the stock peg mount. I really should have just went with an aftermarket peg mount. It's got a Fast Minis frame cradle too, which I guess is a big deal if you don't want to rip your peg mount bolts right through the case. I've seen some horror pictures of that, so didn't want to do that, so I put those on. And it's got the BBR, I believe it's a 143 big bore, and yeah, so that's wicked. This thing hauls. And then it's got the BBR intake, the filter and everything, which is sweet. I'm not sure if I'm missing the bracket kit for this side, but it came with a bracket kit for that side. I'm not sure if that's like a usual thing, but then it's got the BBR stiff fork springs, so I put those puppies in. Dampening rods and a shock extension would be decent, but I figured the L would be high enough already as is, and I think I was pretty much right. Like, I'm not too worried about it. And yeah, so that's pretty much the bike. I took the kickstart lever off because it was just riding on the inside of my leg all the time and everything, and these have electric start anyway, so I'm like, we'll be in the yard and stuff most of the time. I'm not going to be too worried about breaking down and not being able to start it. But yeah, a few other things I want to do. Probably clip this here because I see most guys do that. It just looks a little bit cleaner because that doesn't really stretch that high and end up cracking it anyway. And yeah, so this thing is pretty sweet. I took the stock skid plate off. I don't know if you can see under there. But yeah, I just figured we're just riding around the yard and stuff, not doing anything too crazy, so I don't think I'll need it. Never ended up putting it back on. I didn't go with high or extended clutch or brake levers when I did this. And so I just flipped the throttle tube kind of down, and the half waffle's a little bit high then, but it doesn't really bother me too much, and the throttle cable's honestly not too tight where I'd be worried about it, neither is the clutch. But yeah, this thing is sweet. That's at the exhaust system there, everything. And yeah, I never ended up hooking up. There's these two wires that came out of the clutch cable. I just sort of ran them behind the plate there. You can see that connector. It goes right beside there, that empty hole. I should probably put a plug in that empty hole and maybe tape that connector, but I think you could just extend those wires. That's just so you can start it when it's in gear if you pull the clutch in, but I don't mind finding neutral every time. I'm not really doing anything crazy with it. And oh yeah, I guess we've got the BBR tall seat too, which I can't say enough good things about that. That was like huge. I rode it right away without that, and it was terrible with that in the stock bars. So I would say if you're gonna build one of these right away, I would do the seat and the bars right off the bat. The fork springs, they make a difference, but like I feel like you don't need those 100%. Having the L model with the clutch is sweet for somebody tall because it already comes so much taller than just a regular 110. That's also why I went with the Cowie. And yeah, so this thing's pretty sweet. I like it. It's a lot of fun to rip around, do some wheelies. That 143 makes really good power. I left the stock kickstand on there because, I mean, it's kind of nice to have when you're just cruising around the yard and stuff, playing around. I'd like to do a headlight kit on it eventually, but we'll have to see down the road. If I keep this thing for too long or whatever, I kind of just wanted to try one to play with it a little bit, and I've kind of always wanted one. I had a couple Pitster Pros, and honestly these, after having one, are obviously the way to go if you can justify or afford spending the money a little bit extra to get yourself a Japanese bike and put some good American parts on it and stuff. And yeah, you definitely won't regret it, that's for sure. The back tire's been good. Like, it's pretty much brand new. I mean, She's seen a few wheelies though, so it doesn't take long to wear one of those out. I mean, I could see upgrading the tires a little bit, doing some powder coating, and this thing would look sick. You could also do the dampening rod and the shock extension, but I don't know. Also, I'd like to do the rear spring too, but for now this one seems fine. I guess I'll also mention I'm about 6'4" and 190 pounds, and this thing's comfy for me. Like, I feel pretty good on it. Like, it's a little tight, but I mean, it's a pit bike, so it's not gonna be like a big bike. And yeah, it's comparable like torque wise because of the short wheelbase. It's easier to wheelie than like a 150R or whatever. Like, it pops up really quick, which is sweet. But yeah, I'll give you a little sound of the FMF here. So yeah, I just remounted that the kill switch and the electric start right on the side there because I don't want to rewire it to mount it up here, and it really doesn't matter to me. And I don't know, it's not really enough room. Your clutch cable would be, or your clutch lever would be way out there if you had it. I kind of got it at the beginning of the bend here. Yeah, so I'd probably just throw that down there like this, but oop. Yeah, this thing's pretty sweet. Sounds good. It's a lot of fun to ride. Pretty sweet little bike. So if you're in the market for one, I would definitely check out one of these, either the Honda or this, depending on if you want the clutch or not. But they're pretty sweet little bikes. There's really not a ton of maintenance on them. Like, you might have to clean the carb every once in a while. This thing's a little bit boggy, but I think you're going to get that with the carb no matter what. That's why you might want to go with the Honda with the fuel injection, but these things are pretty fun. Thanks for checking out the video. See you in the next one.